Spin Doctors and Two Princes on BBC Radio Solent. 12:41. Pat here for Thursday afternoon. bbc.co.uk/upload is how you get in touch if you've done something you want to share with people. Be it music, be it poetry, be it a podcast. It's actually a podcast this time, actually. From Nick Parton, who claims to live quietly in the Eastleigh area and has sent us one of the comedy podcasts that he's produced. Afternoon, Nick. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Lovely bit of the 90s there.
You gotta love the 90s. In many respects, it was a better time for some people, anyway. So other people think no, they're a load of rubbish. Now, listen. You sent us your podcasting. You say you live quietly in the Eastleigh area, but actually, you seem to be quite prolific in terms of content you've been churning out lately. Because it's not just podcasts and things, but you've also been doing other creations as well as the one we're going to hear.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, a full-time creative. I, like to work on doing sort of music and sound effects for games. I like to perform comedy whenever I can. Trying to learn programming at the moment, which is a lot more difficult than it sounds. But yeah, I'm always busy. And
you sent us some of your work. You do a wide variety of different stuff. We're going to hear a little bit of it. There's a lot of parody going on because if people go on our Facebook page or the BBC Radio Solent Twitter, they can see a segment from TV magazine programme The Two Show. I kind of know where you're going with that from the title. I think it's fair to say. I would definitely watch The Two Show, though. If the one show was on BBC One at 7 o'clock, I would definitely watch The Two Show on BBC Two to see what would that be? The guests that BBC One didn't want to book.
Exactly. It's the next step down. It's still relatively entertaining, but it's not quite top tier.
I like that idea. That will resonate with a lot of people here trying to book guests, I can assure you. And they can see that on our Facebook page. But what we're going to listen to from the podcast you sent us is Thrub Magazine and their profile of someone called Reuben Bondek. So before we hear this, Nick, take me through the work of Thrub Magazine and what it is they are trying to achieve.
Well, they're essentially a sort of a highfalutin, low-circulation, pretentious magazine that likes to cover all the sort of outsider artists and what have you. They basically think they're better than anyone else, and as such, they've chosen to focus on, as I said, the outsider musician, Reuben Bondek, who is a musician, sort of an avant-garde musician, very much in the sort of vein of Scott Walker, Tom Waits. And much like Spinal Tap, he does everything totally seriously, but everything he does is slightly absurd at the same time.
But then he will never realise that, presuming like Spinal Tap as well. They always presumed they were bang on the money, no matter how ridiculous they look to the outsider.
Exactly. It's crucial that he never notices how ridiculous he really is.
Right, let's have a listen. Let's have a listen to the slightly patronising Thrub Magazine profile of Reuben Bondek.
Magazine.
Hi, this is Daniel Thornton-Smith, editor of Thrub Magazine, the only publication that mainlines you oral crack and visual heroin drawn straight from the ephemeral vein of the arts world underground, all adding up to one glorious speedball bomb of culture. For our inaugural podcast, we bring you an exclusive profile of the reclusive artist's reclusive artist, Reuben Bondek. See the money, I'm Reuben Bondek. I want to go home. A man of one face, Bondek has been twisting the nipples of sonic latitude for nearly 40 years, ably accompanied by longtime engineer Marcus Heinrichsen.
I'm Marcus Heinrichsen. I'm the longtime engineer of Reuben Bondek. Yeah.
He was born in Houston, Texas, has released 58 albums, and seriously injured Elton John. On the eve of a no-profile, small-scale reissue of his classic Art Massacre trilogy, we deliver his life straight to your mind. Oh no, oh no! So, just who is Bondek? Forget everything you know about music. Bondek doesn't know anything about music, so neither should you. That's how you have to think when you listen to Reuben.
That is a excerpt of Thrub Magazine's profile of Reuben Bondek. I think we've put the phone down on Nick because I was going to ask him a little bit more about that. It sounds like classic broadcaster or magazine that talks down to the people who it's meant to be representing, and came to us from Nick's podcast. I'll tell you what we'll do is we will get him back up in just a minute, because I want to point people to where the podcast is and where you can download it as well. He sent it into us at bbc.co.uk/upload, and like I say, you can see his 2-minute titter, The Two Show, on the BBC Radio Solent Facebook page right now. Put the phone down on me accidentally. Sorry about that, Nick. That was most rude of us. I didn't want you to think you'd been flung out of the garden as some kind of response to your work or something like that. Apologies.
I wouldn't have been surprised if that was the case.
No, not at all. I mean, I like the idea. So we heard a bit of your podcast a moment ago, the Thrub magazine podcast about Reuben Bondek. It reminds me of quite a lot of sort of pompous rockumentaries about your Peter Gabriels and your Phil Collins, or more sort of progressive rock stars and that kind of thing. Was that what you were going for?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's any musician that has, or artist that has, just a really high opinion of themselves. And I mean that you can extend that to sort of character comedy, like sort of Alan Partridge and what have you. They're just slightly on the wrong side of confidence.
Yeah, confident without the skill to back it up necessarily. It's a rich seam of comedy, isn't it, really? Looking at the other stuff you can get in your podcasts, other characters like Dave Jenny, investigative journalist who's detected something foul brewing in his hometown of Bangford, and online superfan NecroTony94. I mean, that's the worst username ever. Good grief. NecroTony94, presenting a tribute to the self-proclaimed king of video game walkthroughs. If anything needs parodying, it's video game walkthroughs. People making money by going on YouTube, playing games and talking about it for 7, 8, 9 hours on end. I'm glad you've taken them in your sights, to be honest, Nick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was just once again just seemed like a rich seam of comedy, especially the ones that were sitting in their own little bubble and just, really are not seeing how ludicrous they are.
They're all, it's that puncturing the pomposity, isn't it? They're all very funny. They're a bit rude for daytime radio, but because I cut you off, Nick, you now have 20 seconds to plug all the places your online work can be received with a naughty language warning. Off you go.
Sure. Well, you can go to nickparton.co.uk. That pretty much has all the sort of social media you'd expect, YouTube and Twitter. And if there's one thing I'd like people to do, it's subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be streaming with that YouTube character this Sunday.
Oh, okay. So, and that's just Nick Parton on YouTube, is it? Subscribe via that link.
Or go to nickparton.co.uk and you can find the link to it.
Nick, I'm sure we'll talk again. Thank you very much for coming on. Sorry for the communication issues, and good luck with the podcast and the streaming. It's great to talk to you.
No problem. Thanks very much.
12:52, we have a winner of sorts on artistic license, which I'll reveal in the next few minutes. Make a difference next.